What's on Your Mind is sponsored by ACC 339.0, New Style Radio 98.7 FM, Breakthrough Studios, and Reggae Jam Jam.
Good afternoon. How you doing? Welcome to another program, the series of What's on Your Mind. I am Carl. The program is produced by Breakthrough TV. So how you doing? Hope all is well with you. Wow. It's another wonderful day and another wonderful afternoon. I should say night. It's actually night now. Hope all is well with you guys. Let me say thank you for tuning into Breakthrough TV. And I want to say a big thanks to our guest that we had in the studio last week. Wow, what a wonderful Jeanette Barrett. What a wonderful lady. And we had a blast. Absolutely fantastic. And she'll be back here next week. Not next week. She'll be back here. As she said to me, I'll be back. she turned to Arnold Schwarzenegger. So she'll be back very, very soon. You know what I mean? Let me say thanks to all you guys who watch the program. Big shout out to you know what I mean? All you guys in America, the United States, America, all over the world. Let me say big thanks to you. Also, big shout out to you. As you know, I always look at a few of the things that's happening in the news from my sort of point of view. You know what I mean? And I have a little rant. And then also I look at sports and I also look at entertainment. And then I'll have my rant. But this week my rant is not so much of a rant. It's a rant, but it's not a rant, if that makes any sense to you. Which is actually I want to talk about something, a very, very specific thing that happens in London about 42 years ago. So I want to talk about that, you know what I mean, and share some information with you there. And I've also got in the studio with me a wonderful artist from Birmingham, and it's actually Haile Bread. Welcome to the show, Haile Bread. How you doing?
Greetings, Carl. Everything is blessed and everything is nice.
Everything is blessed and everything
yes,
is nice.
Man, respect and love, man.
You look very relaxed there.
Well, you know, what can I say? I'm glad to be here.
You got to be here.
Yeah, it's
so
good to be here.
How you doing?
Well, we're busy, you know, and, you know, music and things like that, you know. We have some events like Friday. We're going to be in London Slow, you know, with Natty Frontline Sound and, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, and Jatubbies them and a couple of things in the pipeline.
Things are going.
Yeah, little things.
How's the year been for you? I know we were still in January, so how's the year been for you? How the year started for you?
Well, you know something, to be honestly, I can't complain because I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, I did have some bereavement in my family when my aunt passed away in America and, you know, like that. But still, other than that, we give thanks for life and, you know, we have some things to manifest and Breakthrough TV. You see what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Well, boy, we are going and we are do. You see what I say? Yeah, so I'm here to participate and yeah.
Let me say, because you've been here before, so let me say welcome back and thanks you for coming back to the program.
What's on your mind? What's on your mind? It's Breakthrough TV. What's on your mind? Carl Campbell.
We need to make that tune anyway. We're
gonna do that, man.
We're gonna do that tune anyway.
Yeah, because you know it needs to be done.
It needs
you know?
to be.
Yeah, definitely.
What else have you been up to? What else have you been up to?
Well, I must say we have some.
Anything going on in Birmingham?
Not at the present, you know, but kind of focus more out. Like, you know, we have some more shows in London and, you know, some things like over Europe, Spain and some different, something like, you know, March and, you know, I may have to be in the Caribbean, Jamaica and do some things as well, you know.
I think the last time I saw you was in the summer when was it Simadawn or was it the 012 Jamaica Independence?
I think it was Simadawn.
Was it Simadawn?
I think it was Simadawn.
I think it was Simadawn in Hansel Park.
Yeah.
And that was the summer.
Third world there, yeah.
Third world. 96 degrees.
Right,
yeah, that was it.
It was a good vibes, you know what I mean? We can't complain still, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And, we hope they bring another one back there this year because it's always the vibes. I would imagine they're actually planning one by now, actually.
Yeah, well, something must be in the plan. I don't know who's going to be the headliner this year, you know what I mean? But
I did see something, but I can't confirm, so I won't say anything.
Yeah,
I can't confirm who is going to be the headline this year.
If I remember, they supposed to have Abyssinians last year on the launch party, and it never. I don't think it did manifest and this and that, but you never know what can happen.
Well, I think the Abyssinians are here because they are actually coming to the Legacy Center of Excellence.
Yeah, I see that as well with big youth.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
My days, big youth.
Yeah. It's like it's gonna be a nice, nice something.
It should be nice. It should be absolutely. That will caught the place.
Well, as Mr. Tio say, A long time. Well, I performed with Abyssinians. That was like '89, back in the days, and we done a show, Marcus Garvey Center in Nottingham.
Nottingham, yeah.
Yeah. That, in fact, that was the first time they came to England.
Yes, haven't been there for years, but I know.
Yeah.
That's where it is.
And then, yeah, as we say, it's good to see them still up and running and I do the thing, you know what I mean? Because it's like that. That's good, you know?
That's marvelous. Well, as you know, guys, I always look at a few things that's happening across the world. Now, there's been quite a few massacres in the United States, and there was 2 massacres within 48 hours. 48 hours, and I think there's actually been 40 massacres, since the year has started. And actually, one was celebrating the Chinese and the eve of the Chinese New Year, and it was actually in Monterey Park. And as I say, somebody went crazy as per usual, and there was a massacre. And only in the last couple of hours, you could say there was another massacre where actually 7 people got killed. You know what I mean? And it's still the same thing that goes on in America. And I know there's been some politicians talking a lot about doing different things, but nothing ever seems to change. You know what I mean? And as I say, it's so disgusting when you see all this sort of thing happening. I don't know what to say. I remember, come on, how long has Barack Obama left office? And you remember when Barack Obama came to office, it was still happening.
Yeah, some ages ago, man, a long time.
And he seems to have left such a long time ago, you know what I mean?
Yeah, him coming in office, that was 2008.
Yeah.
Right? I did 2 term, right?
And it was going on.
I know it's, what, 2023?
2023, it is.
Right. Not going, man.
It's ridiculous. You know, I gotta tell you this. In January, I'm gonna start with January, but I'm not gonna go through the whole month.
Yeah.
In January 2022,
Yeah.
there was 40 massacre in 1 month. In July, there was 100. I'm jumping the months, right? So in January there was 40. I'm not gonna January, February, March, April, May, June. Yeah. But in July there was 100, right? Yeah. In August there was 71. In September there was 70. In December there was 30. Totally 735 mass shooting in the United States in 2022.
Wow. That's a lot of gunshot.
That is a lot of gunshots.
Lot of gunshot, that man. And you see, it's not going to really change, you know, because it's the Wild West. Yeah, it's the Wild West, you know what I mean? And you see, part of their constitution is...
Yeah, give them the right to do that.
Yeah, it's the land of the free and the brave, you know what I mean? So... You know, when you have the right can have arms and you have your license, and you know what I mean. So it's like that, you know what I mean.
I don't well, the gun lobby, anyway. The gun lobby is the guys who actually they've got a very, very, as you could, the lobby is very, very powerful, and I think that is what the main issue is.
They're not gonna change it, man. Because as we said to you, you know, even down to the little school, when you say all these kind of incidents,
it's happening in school as well. Yeah,
you know what I mean. So this thing is. I don't know, we're flying at them some of the time, you know. I don't know if it's something in the year or whatever, you understand, but it's not a good look. You know what I mean?
Well, last week I was only talking about like it was a young guy. It was a school from 9. I think there was a school from about 5 to 9 year old. Yeah. And a youth take a gun into school and shoot a teacher. I don't know. I think this teacher was very critical. You know what I mean? And it was only a young guy. You know what I mean? There's also a case where a grandmother actually talks about where they found they was talking and they actually found a golden bullet, and a 7-year-old was taking a golden bullet to school. You know what I mean? And as I said, today, the last couple of shootings that happened is actually happening where? California. Everybody say comes to California. Come to Los Angeles, California.
Boy.
And it's one of those ones, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, the place, I mean, say, it's the gun is a business at the same time, and, you know, through them I make them this and that. It's just like the war we say I go on in Ukraine and all them something. They say, you know, Germany say them I go get tanks and this and that, and you know what I mean? Yeah. But you want to check out the real something, you say, all right, you know, who I make the guns, who I sell the guns, who I make the money, and who I feel the pain.
It's a big business, eh?
Of course it's a business.
It's big business.
But it's getting from what? Bad to worse.
Bad to worse, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not going to say one of those ones. I'm not going to say one of those ones again. Definitely not going to say that one. Anyway, let me move on. Now, let's move on. Let me come to London. Now, a mother died after her daughter actually found an ambulance for her in London, and the ambulance didn't come. Well, the ambulance didn't come. The ambulance was actually supposed to come in like 6 to 10 minutes. Well, the ambulance didn't come, and she actually the daughter actually called 999, and they say the ambulance Victoria actually died, and she actually died from a cardiac arrest. You know what I mean? Waiting and waiting and waiting for an ambulance, and it didn't happen. You know what I mean? And this happened in 2022, July 2022. You know what I mean? And they say it's just another a disgusting thing again. And London ambulance has actually, the service has actually apologized. But you know what I mean? And her daughter Emmanuel, as it says, called the ambulance, and they told her they'll be there in 6 to 10 minutes. And I said, it never happens, you know what I mean? So it's another tragic case of where you're waiting and waiting and waiting, you know what I mean? And the people who are supposed to look after you doesn't come. And we know the NHS is in sort of terrible state at the moment, you know what I mean? And it's the same government that's been going for such a long time.
Changes.
You know what I mean?
Changes.
It is the same. I know we're not here to say like a political thing, but it's the same government that's literally run the damn health service down. And if the other party was doing it, they would have been on the stick.
You're correct in what you're saying, because you see, to how me see it right now, a lot of talk is about privatize.
Yeah.
And England is moving like America, slowly, and you know what I mean? So all the thing is privatizing, and the medical something, living in New York and, over them places, so, and how the system set, it's different from over here, so everything you have to pay for.
Yeah.
So I see it happening in England and where even down to the medical and your GP and this and that, and the system cramp.
Yes.
The biggest issue right now is money.
Yes.
Right? Because look upon it. Doctor want more money. The man them
ambulance driver wants more money. The train driver wants more money. The nurses want more money. Everybody's taking money from us.
Right. But they now increase the minimum wage.
No.
So them are going to feel the pressure.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah?
But it is just...
Why, I tell you.
Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Now let me move on. Now, I like to talk about things like that because it can happen to any of us. Now, and I'm talking about some motor crash here. Now, multiple pile up on the M40 in Buckinghamshire, and that's happened on Saturday. And I think it was an eight vehicle pile up. You know what I mean? And as I say, quite a few people was in that crash, and like a man 70 and a woman 60 also died in that crash. And that's what actually Thames Valley Police has actually said, which is not very good. And some of these people I know the fog wasn't very good in the last couple of days. You know what I mean? So when the fog is not very good, you have to be so careful. And only yesterday there was another big crash on the M5. You know what I mean? And as I say, you don't see these stories coming out a lot, but we like to sort of show it and see. You can see what's happening. You know what I mean? When you're driving, you know what I mean? So you have to be so careful, especially in times like that. You know what I mean? Because some of it can be actually avoided. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's just speed or carelessness. Sometimes I'm on the road and I don't know what is happening. You know what I mean? And sometimes in the night I'm actually scared to literally drive on the road because some of these people who them drive is mad.
Well, as you say, sometimes you driving this, so but at the same time, you have to conscious of them and how them are drive. Some man hug up underneath your body and rear or whatever. You know what I mean? They kind of mad drivers them. You know what I mean? Them the speeding. They don't have no consideration for nobody. Yeah. You know?
I think the classic one is where sometimes you're going up the road, and I've mentioned this before. And you got the left hand lane, and you got the middle lane, and you got some people want to turn right. You want to see this after. Yeah. And the guy, the traffic in the right hand lane, the middle lane, what we call the middle lane, you got the left, middle, and right. The traffic in the middle lane will be carrying the straight hand.
Yeah.
And the traffic on the right in the carriageway is marked turn to the right. But what you'll do, you'll get some people come up and they go boom, and then they cut straight in front of you and carry straight on.
Yeah, bad driver them.
Yes.
Bad. And cause will accident just like that.
Yeah. And I say it is one of those things which is not very good. Now, Jamaica. Now let me talk about Jamaica here. Now, Andrew Holness has actually said there'll be serious efforts in trying to uncover the people that's committed fraud within the Usain Bolt money disappearing, putting it bluntly. And he says he's very, very disappointed with what's actually happened, and there'll be a massive investigation. He also actually the FBI is being brought down to sort of investigate that that missing money. And a lot of people, there's been a lot of things on social media, a lot of people talking about this and that, and politicians having the money and all the rest of it. And a lot of people, there's a lot of speculation. Andrew Holness actually says, the Prime Minister says, people should not spread panic. But at the same time, if you invest your money in your own country, yes, and if you build yourself up like Usain Bolt, and everybody loves Usain Bolt, you know what I mean? And you build yourself up like Usain Bolt and trying to get on with your life, and you put your money in a bank account from probably about 2010, say about 2012, and it suddenly start disappearing. Why? Why you're not going to panic? You know what I mean? How can you calm people's nerves? And I'm not telling people to panic, but it's very, very difficult to calm people's nerves, especially when it is in your own country. If you had invested somewhere else in another country and you're in your own country and you invested somewhere else and somebody take it and you think, well, bloody hell, you know what I mean? But when it's happening in your own country, you know what I mean? It's damn thief.
Yeah, you see, we are taught this, huh? I've been certain experience, you know, one time I have some account at Jamaica, just to say. And my mother have an account, and it's a giant account.
Yeah.
So now she give me this book and say, all right, go and take the money out of the account. Now, it's supposed to have over, say, 20,000 Jamaica in this account. Mm. When I go to the bank, you know what them tell me? Say the account closed.
Serious?
It's a long time them are thief people.
Them are thief people like that?
Yes.
My days.
Right? Them have something like, when they say, oh, the account is dormant. And them something there. You know, like you have an account and it's not active.
Yeah.
But you have money in it.
Yes. Because you haven't used your account for Scribe sometimes, so they make it dormant. Yeah,
all right. And then, next something there. Remember that time say, oh, should have an next account. Here next, £1,000 in it. You can't put £1,000 in an account and did it for 10 years and you don't get a pound on it.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
Right?
Ridiculous.
So these, you know, I want to put bandula go on long time, you know, still, you know.
It is,
you know. And you see, if Andrew owned this money, them the tech, it would be a next different thing, wouldn't it? Yeah. It would be a next thing.
It is. And I say he says he's disappointed with the company's stocks security, which the SSL, you know what I mean, that is involved in that fraud, you know what I mean. And I think like something like 1.7 million has sort of disappeared, and that is a lot of money. You know what I mean? But there's all different figures that is actually going around, you know what I mean. So it's one I actually came across.
This scamming thing, boy, it get wild.
Yes.
Really. A man showed me something and said, boy, this woman, you know, right? She go and walk like she can't walk like a whole woman, you know. But it's a young girl. So these are the tricks where, you know, people them disguise themselves, you know, just for, you know, get over upon people. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the Prime Minister's advice about not to panic?
Well, you know something. You have to say something to keep the people them under control and in that kind of way, because things will blow out a proportion. Yeah. Because when you stop and look on it, they know. If them are going to do that to Bolt, a little man like me and you, then not clean me out and a business about we need. I know. And this is the thing where they might try to keep calm, because, you know. Yeah.
And I said, you don't know how long it's going to take before all this money is come back, you know what I mean? I do hope. I mean, I do hope when it's sorted out, they'll catch them and put them in that place and bolt them in.
Well, as you said,
bolt them in.
Bolt them in right now. Yo, it's going to be something, something. Because, you know, all me know say, me hear some new laws, them want to induce from Jamaica for murder, this, that, and whole heap of this and whole heap of that. So, and according to Onisima talk about say the people them abroad and a foreign I instigate whole heap of this and that and him not having it. I don't know where I'm going, you know, but you know, it's still not better the country right now.
I know, and I think he was actually talking about one where he was actually the death, talking about the death penalty. But he can only do the death penalty until he becomes a republic.
That's
or,
correct.
Or because the queen or the monarchy has to deal with that, isn't it?
That's correct.
You can't. That's why we haven't got the death penalty now in Jamaica.
Yeah, because you know they are England.
No, they've removed it. So I mean, until Jamaica becomes a republic, or they change the law significantly. You know, I should say the king.
Yeah, well,
I should say until the King Charles changed the rules.
Yeah, well,
it's not gonna happen.
That you say because I see him something. Me see some heap of prison where them build up down there. If you definite people, if you stay long. You understand?
Yeah.
And that is what they kind of invest in. I don't see them investing in you know, the people, them, you know, agriculture, whatever, to benefit the country.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, it kind of left it look like, say, well, boy, it's only Chinese people can come to Jamaica, come do something, this, you know, foreigners, them. What happened to the Jamaicans? Them are brilliant minds. They, you know, they can do anything like everybody else.
It's a long haul, and it's a very long haul. And sometimes I think the Jamaican people actually needs to come together a bit more and put more effort into whatever they're. And I'm not knocking anyone, and put more effort in. I keep saying it many times. I'll talk a million times. Work together.
Naturally.
Work together. I said that many times, and that's the only way you can overcome situation is to work together. I mean, we shall overcome. You remember that? Yes, Martin Luther King, they was all working together.
Naturally.
And if we use that, you know what I mean, that's the only way. I can't put it any other way.
It's just like how you said that, so. I mean, they might open the case back for Malcolm X.
Yeah, because the guys have actually allegedly they have been released.
All right.
Yeah, they have been released. Yeah,
So
one actually died, and another one is still released. And he's probably about in his 80s now, and they say it wasn't him who done it.
But but they know how it go.
Yeah,
They know how it go. So this I show you, you know, the system. Whenever there is somebody where can uplift the people,
yeah,
and they see that this person, it could have been Carl Campbell, and he might uplift the people, and I say, boy, you know, you have to get rid of this man, you know, because we don't want these people, them, you know, unite and farm, you know, reform. Because that is what it's about now. It's about reforming, setting up different entities and different, you know, business and whatever.
Yeah.
So when them say divide and conquer, right? And that is all what is going on.
It is, as I say, it is that sort of situation. Don't forget, guys, if you like to have a comment, go in the box. I know a lot of you people put on the on my Facebook page, how you like the show, you enjoy the show. Well, put it in the box.
Sure, man.
Put your comments up on the, you know what I mean, what you see. Put your comments up and let's, you know what I mean, let's hear what you have to say there, yeah? And I say, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I say, this is a live stream. We're actually doing it live now. So I say, share it to your friends and your families and everybody, you know what I mean? I say, come on, watch this. Look what these man are going with. You know?
Real talk.
Real talk, is it? Now, let me move on now. Now, a Birmingham school has been accused of racist hair policy. Yes. And this is after a young girl was actually banned from the classroom, not from the canteen, let's get it right, from the canteen and the playground. And Jade Samuels, who's her daughter, claimed her daughter, the way she's done her hair, you know what I mean? They banned her from the actual playground and the canteen, and they said it was a Catholic school, and they didn't like the way her hair has the heart shape, which I actually think is absolutely wonderful. So her mother has actually accused the school of having a hair racist policy, and this actually comes from Birmingham Live, and it also comes from Sky News, you know what I mean? So and this was actually last week. So we see some crazy things that's going on there once again.
I didn't know people could get racist over hairstyle and all them something.
Yeah, and it looks so lovely, isn't it?
Of course, it looks lovely. Somebody was saying to me, you know,
yeah,
in ancient times, they used to make maps. You know, people
You know,
here
people
there.
here.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, if we go through certain places, you know. So when we look, that's art.
And it's art, and it's so neat. You know what I mean?
Man.
There's nothing wrong with it. You don't look how it says chaka chaka and
No,
tidy. You know
man,
what I mean?
it's pretty, man.
It looks nice and pretty. You know what I mean? So it's but I suppose, you know what I mean, I could narrow it and say, like, you know what I mean, I suppose each school got their own school policy or their own uniform policy. You know what I mean? If we want to sort of mellow it a little bit. But as I say, there's nothing wrong with the hairstyle.
It's discrimination. Because, all right, you see what you're saying there, sir?
Yeah.
Is the same something
I know what you're going to say.
when I used to say about Rasta?
Yeah, I know
Right?
what you're going to say.
When they might have them locks and I go to school,
Yeah.
and you know, said that stop a lot of my friend them back in the 70s and all them time there to play football for you know, like Aston Villa and enough of these teams around there because they were scouting for, you know,
And
talent.
they discriminate against because
Yeah,
they got the locks.
just because they have blacks. And now, when you look at it now, look how much of them, you know.
Yeah, it's got the
So
locks, innit?
there's a lot of discrimination, you know.
Yeah. It does happen. And I remember,
Yeah,
you know,
man.
I remember when I was very, very young, there was a lot of, you know, there was a lot of sort of discrimination against, as you say, Rastafarians.
Yes, man, for real.
Who had the locks, you know, absolutely. And even where, you know, even the country that we know, exactly. So, and it was very bad there.
It was
big time.
It was worse, sir.
Yeah, it was bad in that particular place. Yeah. Now, let me go into an interesting story. Now, a man, actually, this man is actually marvelous, and he was actually lost in the Caribbean for 24 days. He was actually sailing on a boat, and his boat went drifting in December, and he was actually stuck. He couldn't sort of get anywhere, and basically what happened? He survived on tomato, and also he survived on some what you call seasoning cube, and he survived on quite a few things like that. And the man is actually from Dominica, and he's actually Elvis Francesca, as they say, survived on those sort of things, and it's just a marvelous thing to see that he actually survived. You know what I mean? I don't know you could survive so long on tomato ketchup. That's basically,
Wow.
You know what I mean? But it's good to see, and to see him surviving. And he was actually rescued by the Colombian Navy, which is actually marvelous. And we love those stories.
Well, it worked out good for him.
Yeah, it does. It's absolutely. It's actually working.
I'm glad.
It's actually an absolute marvelous workout for him. Yeah. As I say, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We're glad that man is actually safe. You know what I mean? And I say, and well, you know what I mean? Absolutely marvelous. But was it tomato ketchup that does it?
Why the ketchup must have something in it?
Well, it probably. I would say, you know, if I was to, I'd say sugar.
Well, me tell you what.
It's got sugar, isn't it?
I tell you what.
What?
It'll catch him up. You know? So
Very good.
yeah, you know, that catch him up. You know?
Catch him up.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, sometimes you know need a lot, you know, just a little ketchup.
Okay, that's marvelous. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah.
And I remind you guys, leave your comments in the box down there. Now, let me move on. Moving on to sports. Now, soccer plays for England and also Arsenal, and he's actually got into the records books because he actually scored consecutively against Man U. And there's only 3 players that actually has done that. One is Thierry Henry, and the other one is Freddie Ljungberg. So it's actually marvelous to see him do that. And actually, Arsenal actually beat the Reds 3-2 on Sunday, and that's what he actually did. And I say he's actually a wonderful young player. And as I say, he plays in the England team, and as I say, he also plays for Arsenal, which is actually good to see. That so he's in the history books for actually, as I say, 3 times consecutively in the league, where he actually did that, which is actually marvelous. So we like those. Yeah, we actually like those. Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, very real. What do you think of such a young player?
Yeah, you have a big talent, you know.
Massive talent.
And you know, how me see him perform, yeah, the energy him have and the idea, I'm very creative.
Yeah.
I see him strike a couple goals, and I stop and look and say, go on, youth. Yeah, represent, you know.
There's a lot of players like that. There's him and there's also Marcus Rashford.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Radford, he might go on same
Yeah,
too.
it's good.
Might
Yeah,
go on.
yeah. It's actually very, very talented player. There's quite a few of them, but those are the one actually I can see really stand out at the moment.
True.
Rashford and young Saka. You know what I mean? I say
Yes, Saka,
he's still very young,
yeah, man.
which is absolutely marvelous. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now, let me move on. Now, the BBC has done a U-turn. U-turn? Of course, you'd have done a U-turn. Now, the BBC had actually planned to scrap, put it bluntly, to scrap all local radio station that they actually broadcast on. And they've been tossing this and turning it and tossing it and turning it. There was a lot of complaint about it, you know what I mean? Complaint from MPs such as Diana, but also quite a few actors actually and actresses actually complain about this. Say the BBC cannot do this. So they've actually done a U-turn, you know what I mean, and which is actually marvelous because we all pay our license, you know what I mean. So why should they disrupt or why should they scrap the African Caribbean channels, you know what I mean, that they actually broadcast on, you know what I mean. So why should they do that? You know, I know one of the big the big organization who's actually been fighting that. I got to call them an organization because that's what they are. It's the Voice Online. The Voice Online has been very, very tough with this, you know what I mean, and they've been putting out a lot of information about this. So it's good to see the BBC generally done a U-turn. And if you want to cut some program, BBC, I suggest you actually cut some of those programs that you play those big presenters that does those football programs and you play the big money on the television. You know those ones, don't they?
Yeah.
Gotta get a ridiculous amount of money. Don't leave it to the small African Caribbean channels, you know what I mean, and do things like that.
Yeah, man, you see, for them story and where them are going with, you know, you have to give other stations the opportunity to go and, you know, promote and do what them doing, right? BBC I run long time and they're not really a cater. You understand? That's why they come with them one extra and two extra and all them something. Because they might get extra now. They might get too bright, but you know they can't stop the variety and the spice where the young people them want. And they're not catering for certain categories. You know what I mean? So I mean, you said that one at a time, as I said, they make a U-turn. Because, you know, like the community station, then they want to like shut them down and this and all them kind of something. The kind of rumors what me kind of hear still, you know what I mean? So, you know, it make you stop and think, you know, really. Yeah,
and I should say that they have actually made a U-turn in stop getting rid of African Caribbean local radio. That's what I should say, yeah? Yeah,
because it coming like it is a target one set of people, don't?
That's right, yeah. As I say, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now, entertainment. You like this one. Entertainment. Now, Gregory Isaacs.
Yeah.
You remember Gregory Isaacs?
Yeah, well, Gregory Isaacs are the first major stage show where me sing and support the artist. Gregory Isaacs, a Hummingbird.
Hummingbird.
Yeah, and that was like 89.
89.
Yeah.
So you support him after the Night Nurse came out?
Well, you know something? I was supporting it. That was before Night Nurse.
Night Nurse came out in 1982.
Well, you know something?
There's a reason why actually it's good.
Okay.
This is what I do, you see. I'm good at this.
All right, go on.
Night Nurse actually came out in 1982. And Night Nurse has actually been certified by the British Phonographic Industry, the BPI, for Silver Award. Okay. Which is actually marvelous. And it's actually sold, this was in January 2022, and it's actually sold 200,000 units in the UK. So it is certified for the Silver Award.
Okay, that's great.
Which is marvelous.
And you know something, as me say, Gregory is an artist where, as you say, I'm glad to meet them people there and the contribution, what them put into the reggae industry. Yeah. You know, him and Dennis Brown, Sugar Minot, and, you know, certain artists them coming back from them time, they so them play a big contribution. Yeah.
I never actually see Gregory, you know. I think I should actually see him at not the Hummingbird. Dig Betts. You remember Dig Betts?
Yes.
I should actually see him at Dig Betts. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, man. Gregory, boy, film show them different.
I think it was called the Digbet Civic Center.
Yeah, Dibet Civic Hall.
Yeah, Digbet Civic Hall. Yeah, I
Car-
think they actually said it was center after all, didn't they?
Well,
It's had so many changes over the years.
you know something, they call it the institution now or something like that.
Yeah, the institute. I think they've actually changed it and called it something else, which is probably closed down now as well.
Because they made it like a part to the O2,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
But the major, you know, like how back in the days we'd have sound system like Naya and we used to play around at the back hall. You know, them have a hall around on the back, a small hall. We play with Josh Shaka and enough of them sound there. So.
Yeah.
But the big hall,
Yeah.
you know, with the bandstand and everything.
That was the Digbets.
Yeah, man.
And it had like like
That's
an
right.
art. What
That's
those hall was made exactly like the We need to do a different program about this. We said we was gonna do it. Those hall was made exactly like the remember the Mayfair?
Yes.
The Mayfair had exactly the same
That's
sort
right.
of and the Hummingbird.
That's correct.
But a little bit different because
That's right.
the Hummingbird was more. Well, the Mayfair was very classy.
True.
And the Hummingbird was also very classy when it started. Because I can go back to a guy actually who used to play at the Hummingbird many years ago.
Yeah.
A guy from Radio 1 called Empire Roscoe when it was
Yes,
the top rank.
That's right. That's right. And you know what say? The same hall you're talking about there.
Yeah.
The last show I went to watch the other day was Steel Pulse.
Wow.
Yeah, last year because they done some shows in the you know, the same arena with the bandstand upstairs, and you know, I said, boy, it's a long time I never come in at it, and the place looked small, you know, but you know.
Yeah. It's one of those. And I should tell you, Gregory actually died in 2010. He died in London. He died of cancer in 2010. So one of those ones. Yeah. Now, still keeping with entertainment, Coffee Sensia and Masika. Yes, were the best-selling artists from Jamaica with the first release album in 2022. Shensia. Yes. And as I say, and this is provided by Dancehall Magazine. The information is provided by Dancehall Magazine. And it comes on the US, actually, the US tracker. So that is one of those ones. And the album they actually had, I mean, Coffee has been around a very, very long time, and it was our first album. The Coffee album is actually called Gifted, and Shensia album is actually called Alpha, and Masika. That is not an unusual name, isn't it? Masika. Masika album is actually called 438. So they've been the best selling artists with a debut album from Jamaica in 2022. And the country is still remain very, very vibrant and very, very valuable in actually the music markets, you know what I mean? And also the record industry worldwide.
Correct.
Yeah.
You see what happened yesterday now? Coffee, and as we say, she come at a good time and she get a good little bus. Because, you know, coming from the foundation, you know, like when reggae, you just said like, you talk Mighty Diamonds, Zeptones and all them group, they coming back from them time there, so. And you listen to the quality of music. The last group really, you can say, coming out of Jamaica, you would have said Morgan Heritage were really kind of,
I see that, yeah.
you know, bring that kind of vibration there, so they know. So after that, they said, they know, you have one and two artists, yeah, them come and them do them something there, but them kind of switch and left the foundation and gone somewhere different, and it not work.
And you know why I'm disappointed. One of the things I'm actually disappointed. I love my big reggae band. You know what I mean? And I love that because those big reggae band was influence for the youths to go and learn to play instruments and to go and do different things. Third World, you know what I mean? All those bands, you know what I mean? I was actually talking to Kat in the park in Hansworth.
Yeah, was talking to him.
And I was saying to him how what an influence he was, you know what I mean?
True.
And he's like a major influence, you know what I mean? When all the guitar work he does. And it's such a shame we don't see big bands like that anymore.
For real, man. Because
doing what they do. You know what I mean?
Man, as you said, so going to Sunsplash at Jamaica, and you know you're there, we did an international night. You have Aswad, you have Sugar Man that was there, this, that, Super Cat, well, you know, what the artists them.
And all these bands, I remember all these bands, there was also, when they don't bring the Dean Fraser band, they bring out this band called the Rough Cut Band.
That's correct.
You know what I mean? All those bands.
Sagittarius band.
Sagittarius band, all those
yes,
sort of
man.
bands, you know?
I have Sly and Robbie and Taxi Crew and whatever.
Taxi Crew, you know what I mean?
So these are the things, them, you know, what lacking there now, it kind of, you know, because the youth, them go and pass some heap of trap music and this and that.
And you can't understand it, can you?
And then, you
not,
see from the other day, what do you call it? Oh, Afrobeat. And that now, them say, wait, Afrobeat now, it come like it around the place. You know what I mean?
Well, Afrobeat is running the place now.
Yeah, then,
I
all right.
Because, you know, what I think about Afrobeat still have this vibes where people is enjoying the music.
That is what it's about.
You know, you remember when dancehall used to be enjoying the music?
Yes.
In dancehall music now, when you say dancehall music, a lot of artists are, I kill this body, cut this boy's short, shoot this boy.
That is where they go wrong.
That's where they gone wrong, isn't it?
They lack creativity.
Yeah.
Because you see the argument, there is so much topics you can DJ and sing about. And me, myself personally, I used to be a DJ before, you know, me really start sing. And making a switch, otherwise could I sing, yes. But, you know, I realized that sometimes the DJ, they get carried away. And, you know, the reality, everything is a reality still, you know. But on a positive tip, I look and say to myself, you know something? You don't really hear a next man come chat, a next man DJ lyrics. But if you make a song, somebody else can sing that. So singing, it kind of gravitate me more.
Yeah.
In that respect.
I see the point. But you also think DJs, I'm a DJ myself, but you always think DJs take responsibility, should take more responsibility of somebody choose them player or they put out there.
All right. We see what you said, you know.
Yes.
A selector that. You select tune.
Okay.
But when we say DJ now, me talk man we are chat and toast pan mic.
Toast pan mic, yeah. Me understand that, yes.
So that is why I just say the people gun this and the girl them this and no, find something better to chat about, man.
Yeah, totally.
Right? So singing now to me, you know, because say hi baby, you know.
What's on your mind?
Right, and there's so much things. You know, like when I make a tune with you, I'm say, oh, you see this tune I know? Say, don't push it, don't force it, make it happen naturally. It will be if it was supposed to be. Don't push it, don't force it, it will happen naturally. If love was meant to be, then it will be. You can't, you know, someone them they don't know if to talk to a woman, you know, and they just force it and this and just take it easy. If it's natural, it will happen. You know what I mean?
Marvelous. I like that.
So, you know.
Yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. My time is running. Now, Beyonce has, you know what I mean, been doing a concert, if you could call it a concert, in Dubai. In Dubai, as I said, and she was actually doing a concert opening a hotel. And there's a lot of criticism about the concert because she make a lot of money. $24 million, yes. And I think this £19.4 million, if you believe that. That is just some of the figures that actually tossing around. She also been criticized for other things. That other things I'm not gonna get into, you know what I mean? And I say this was her first live stage performance since 2018. And the Queen, I'd say the Queen is the Queen Bee will be doing a tour very, very soon. When you see it's like that, you know what I mean? She'll be doing a world tour soon. But there's a couple of artists who are actually doing world tour, and you know they don't always tour together. So I think you know how the music set up.
Yeah,
one artist will be on tour, you know what I mean, and then another artist link up. I'll say put it like this. And Beyonce and Rihanna will never go on tour
together.
No, in different gigs at the same particular time.
True.
You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Just like how like a big reggae band, you know what I mean? Possibly we'll never go on tour when another big reggae band is on tour, on a world tour, you know what I mean? That is how the thing is marketed, you know what I mean?
It goes so much.
It goes so it is. Especially when you reach that stage.
Is it Dubai? Sounds nice.
Dubai sounds nice.
Yeah, one of my friends, they want me go down to Dubai, you know. Man say bread. I don't want you go down there and get trouble, you know. Because them people, them strict on certain things, you know.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of know, you know, how to move, you know what I mean, certain countries and certain places. So, but it's kind of just slow that and say, me Dubai, go and do it I do.
You have to do. Now, let me move on. Now, I've reached my rant, and my rant is a little bit different this week because it's not so much as a rant, but it's a bit of information. And it's been 42 years since the New Cross fire in London, New Cross. Yes.
Okay.
And the survivors are actually asking for a memorial for the victims of the fire, and they also want it to be taught in school. You know what I mean, on the school curriculum. Now, Robert Ruddock, 60, is actually asking for this. Now, I got to tell you, the New Cross fire was actually started in New Cross, South-East London, in 1981. Yes. And the fire, there was a different investigation about this fire. And I'll start at the beginning. And the fire actually killed 13 young British African Caribbean youths, ranging from 14 to 22. You're a youth at that age, yes?
Yeah, man, remember that.
You remember that, yes. And as I say, one survivor actually killed himself because he was actually traumatized. And his friend has actually, he was traumatized and he actually jumps out of a flat, a tower, because he was traumatized by the death of his friend. So actually he was traumatized. Now, the first forensic investigation actually established like an open verdict. You know what I mean? They just leave it as it is, as an open verdict. In 2011, the forensic scientists from the Met produced another investigation, and they ruled out the fire wasn't a bomb attack, because a lot of people at that particular time thought it was a bomb attack. Yes, if you can jog that bell. And they said it was actually started in the house when somebody actually lit a foam-filled armchair. The fire was actually started there, and it actually started in the front of the property. And the other thing about this is that, as I say, it was actually a very, very terrible thing to actually happen. You know what I mean? And you've had different people who have done different things over the years. As I said, 2011, they actually said it wasn't a bomb. However, there was also, at the particular time in New Cross, there was also the far right was activated, was very activated at that particular time. Also, the National Front was very activated at that particular time. You know what I mean? There was also a Princess car, a white Princess car that drove around at a particular time, you know, leaving the scene of the fire at that, as I say, at that particular time. So, and I say, it was pretty terrible at the time. And the fire was actually a birthday to celebrate Yvonne Ruddock, and who also was one of the victims. Also, Angela Jackson. Angela Jackson actually survived. And they said the victim of the fire was Andrew Golding, he was 14, yes. Rosalind Henry, 16. Patrick Cummins, 16. Patricia Johnson, 15. Owen Thomas, 16. Lyde Hall, 20. Steve Collins, 17. As you see, these was young people. Gary Francis, 17. Glenton Powell, 16. Yvonne Ruddock survived, and when she was taken to hospital, but she actually died. Also, Paul Ruddock also survived, but he actually died in hospital. Now, a survivor was actually, a talk I mentioned earlier on, was actually, who actually committed suicide. His name is my apologies, Anthony Brubeck. Anthony Brubeck committed suicide. He was really traumatized by the death of his friends, and he actually committed suicide. And they say that is where the situation is, where the fire is the investigation and the activity of where the fire is. And they say the report by the Metropolitan Police Forensic Department in 2011 says something else. But as I say, one of the brothers, Mr. Ruddock, he actually wants a memorial to be set up for the victims of the New Cross fire. And as I say, it's been 42 years, yes, since that actually happens.
Yeah, then we said something, yes, because, directly, when we stop and look at certain things, it's just the other day, them decide to sort out certain memorial for all those Caribbean black people them who played a part in World War II and they was not honored and in the same something there. So you know, you can't have it all. You know what I mean? 13 dead and nothing said. Remember Johnny Osborne, they sing the song, it was a Aswad production, 13 dead and nothing said. Whoa, where we are go do? Yeah, because he was talking about the New Cross fire, and it's a real thing. You know what I mean? So
I should also tell you that at that particular time as well, there was a day of action from British African Caribbean people. About 20,000 people marched for about quite a few hours. You know what I mean? At that particular time, and if you go back to the archives, you'll actually see where they was walking down places like Fleet Street, and they had their fingers pick up at them. There was abuse language coming from a lot of people from different blocks at that particular time who was actually working there was hounded at the British African Caribbean people. It was like, oh, a black day, a disgusting black day, a black day. It's terrible black day in London. This is all the negative things that was actually. If you go back to the archives, you will actually see this. This is actually the terrible thing that was actually coming out at that particular time. And I mean, and I say it is just it was a terrible time. And I say the far right activist was very active. The National Front was very active at that particular time. You know what I mean? And I say, but that is what the report actually said.
And then you see, when Grenville house go on fire with you, it's the next something again. You understand? So, you know, them kind of slappy-dappy. You know what I mean? And there's things where then kind of just push it on and it carpet and like it's not important really. You know, and it's not right, you know.
And guys, as I say, don't forget to leave a comment. As I say, it is good if you could leave a comment. And as I say, you don't have to get in touch with me privately on Facebook or whatever. Just leave a comment on the screen. And all you will say, big shout to you. Big shout out to you and big shout out to you, Carl. You're doing well all the rest. But leave your comment on this, you know what I mean, on our channel, and let's see what you have to say. You know what I mean. Big shout out to the Poundland man as well. The Poundland man, Osiris B.
Oh, you mean Poundland?
Poundland. Hope all is well with you. Now, let me come to something very light. Coming from the Jamaican, this is, as I say, this is just some more information I want to talk about. Coming from the Jamaican Observer. Now, the Promised Land. The Promised Land. Jamaican call Ghana the Promised Land. And they who actually immigrate to Ghana, you know what I mean? They're actually calling it the Promised Land because Jamaicans who actually immigrate to Ghana is doing very, very well. And they say they find peace and happiness in Ghana. While a lot of Caribbean people never sort of think of immigrating to Africa, you know what I mean? Because they prefer to immigrate to North America or Europe or those other places, you know what I mean? But a lot of Jamaicans are actually embracing the idea of going to Ghana and immigrating to Africa. And because about 90% of all Caribbean people is actually descendants, or they can find their roots back to Africa, you know what I mean? And a very well-known actor, and filmmaker, Mr. Burton. Mr. Burton says he visited there in 2019, Ghana, and he finds it very, very interesting. And he says you can do very, very well living in Ghana. You can have peace of mind. And it's also very, very good for the young people to come and take the opportunity and understand the system and work with the system and improve yourself with the system.
Yeah, man, I agree with you, man, because the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. So, you know, I myself, first place I go in Africa was Ethiopia.
Yeah.
I was there 2007 for the millennium, performing in Nazareth, Addis Ababa, Shashamane, you know.
King's Highway? Did you drive on the King's Highway?
Yes, man, you have to drive the King's Highway.
You have to drive on the King's Highway?
Yeah, you see, when you leave Addis, and you go down Deborah, and then, you know, it branch off, and you go down the King's Highway to Shashamane. And being there, it was a fulfillment, you know?
Yeah.
Because, as me say, you know, singing in Nazareth, and the house full up with beer, Naya Bingi, 12 Tribe Federation, and even down to Zara Jacob. That is His Majesty grandson. Yeah. He was there at the same time too. Yeah. And when they come off the stage, a virgin say, Rasta, why you come to Kenya, you know. I say, what? You want me to come to Kenya? I say, all right, you know what? We go check it out. And it's a charity event. So we was performing with Luciano, Andrew Tash, Julian Marley, Mikey General, and Living Colors. And, you know, a couple more artists them. And I didn't get to go to Kenya straight away. And I arranged and said, okay, I will pay and go next year directly to Kenya. And it was a charity event. And I'm glad I went the next year.
Marvelous. My time is rushing, but I need to ask you the question. Why is it that why do you find so many Caribbean people don't embrace Africa? Is it because, or even people living in this country don't embrace Africa as much as they should? Is it because of the stereotype message that comes out of Africa over the colonial period? Why do you find a lot of people don't sort of embrace Africa? If you say Africa, you know, a lot of people, you know the stereotype that we get.
Well,
or is it the brainwash thing that we get about Africa?
Well, it's part of the brainwash.
Yes.
Because you see the TV and the media and certain things, they don't show you and highlight the good parts of certain things.
Thank you.
Even myself, they know, right? With the America, you have some ghetto. When I say ghetto, run-down place. But then I show you them place there. It's when you go and you see it and say, oh, are this America? No, when we go Africa, all right, in Kenya, we did a place named Kibera.
Yeah.
Kibera now is one of the biggest shantytown ghetto. And Lenny Henry and 4 other celebrities, they went down there and they had to stay in one of the house them for a week with the people them. You see, after the first day, Lenny Henry said, no, we can't live like this and buy them in a house, right? But I went down there and I was doing an interview with the station and, you know, promoting this charity something because, let me say, Kweto Boys Home, that is from Nairobi. And then End Glory, the next charity down in Mombasa, and Spina Bifida and all these things. And then keep the event and we come and we sing and we bring things for the youth. Them and we do what we can do, me and Trisha Irie, bam. And you know, but it was received, you know what I mean? Because it's not about taking and, you know, you have to give something,
That's
right?
That's right.
And reasoning with the youth, them, you know, them asking me some whole heap of intelligent questions and this and that, you know, for help. Because you don't realize how you yourself multitask and even use an ambassador and you can do a lot of things in Africa. The mindset and the experience where you have here. But if you don't go far to really look and see
what's going on.
You're just going to be in that cloud there and say, boy, no, man, me not go there, sir.
Yeah, because you see it all the time. The classic, I could tell you about a tune that Maccabee make, Homeland Africa. You know the tune.
Yes, man.
You know that tune. And that's one of the classic tunes you ever listen to. You know what I mean? Or the brainwash, and they say this and that, and makes it look like all part of Africa is bad. You know what I mean? And it's bad everywhere. You know what I mean? They make it look like all part of Africa is bad. So I'm always disappointed with you know what I mean, with certain people who sort of, when you say Africa, they just turn their nose up and they haven't got a clue because it's just what they, as you said, they've been brainwashed.
I see some pretty buildings, this man, in Ethiopia and Nairobi, and them say, boy, but not even England have pretty building like that. And the fact, you know, okay, we there, so, and we have some scaffolding. You know, when you have them erect them building and them something there, so. When me did that, so, the man, them have scaffolding, they make out of bamboo, board, this, that, and all them something there, you know. And I say, boy, them man are really talented, you know, because, you know, if you go way up there, so, with them board, them and all them something there, you know, you don't realize, you know, so it's showing you, you know, you could have a company out there, so, and bring scaffolding and deal with the people, them and all them something there. There's so much things where you can do. You know, but if you don't make the journey for see, you're not gonna know.
You never know. You're never gonna educate yourself, are you?
That's true,
You know what I
man.
mean? You're just gonna have your little narrow-minded thing all the time. Yeah.
You got some, man.
Don't forget, guys, to like, share, and subscribe. Our program is coming to a end very, very soon. It's got really quick tonight. Anything else you want to share with us, Bree?
Boy, you know, the greatest thing is life, and people try to live good, and if you can't be good, be careful, and, you know, put the most time in front of your back, around your side of your, and in everything, and your thoughts and mind, and everything what you do, you know, day to day. And, you know, as you say, oh, Jah bless,
No man curse.
no one curse. You know what I mean? So try to think on the brighter side of life.
Yeah.
You know, the negativity is only going to bring you down. You understand? So uplift yourself, and if you can't uplift nobody, don't put them down.
Yeah. And tell us about your shows. That's what you got coming up in the
Yes, well, okay. Let me say Friday night we're gonna be down Slow London there. Frontline sound, Natty Frontline with Jatubbies and we say Natty, Selector, Welton gonna be there. I'm gonna be there, and then as we say we have some more different events. You know, boom, Kilburn.
what time it starts?
Well, oh, okay. The one Friday is gonna start from like 6 until 1.
Yeah.
Further information you can check social media. Haile Bread, you know, it's there. The information is there. It's Dub Life. You know what I mean? Yeah. And boy, it's gonna be nice. You know.
Any tunes coming? Got any tunes coming? Because I know you're
Well, you know something?
Yeah.
Funny you say that, you know. Yeah. Funny you say that because I working on I ever working on songs and you know what I mean, and we have some catalogs of music where really we're gonna give to the people them, you know, from different angles and such. Yeah, we have a project called Urban Music.
Okay.
You know, and
What's that about?
well, okay, it's a cultural something. It's roots, you know, reality. You know, we have songs like From Bad to Worse, From Bad to Worse, you better put him first. The leaders of the world, them are balling out for a global recession. The World Bank just crashed. You see what I said to you? And, you know, songs like Armageddon, because this is the Armageddon, you know, where things is happening, you know. And we want to reflect upon these things.
Yeah.
And next song, when we say chant them down, we are chant them because it's only a machine where make money. So, you understand? We don't see why people, you know.
Yeah.
And Marcus Garvey say, every government is working on the behalf of the people. But some get corrupt and greedy and they don't care about them people. Right? So that is what is happening in creation right now. Because these false leaders, them want to think about for them pocket. You know what I mean? So we have to burn them out.
That's great. Bird back. Haile Bread.
Yeah, man. Blessed
What time
Carl,
is here?
man.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Respect.
Once again, thank you for coming on the show, and massive respect. Let me say thank you.
Yes, and I will be looking forward to come and link you again.
Massive respect. Let me
See?
say thank you. There you have it, guys. That went really quick, didn't it?
Yeah, man.
it went so quick.
You could have done next hour.
I know. Don't move. Sit in your chair. Let me say thank you for tuning into Breakthrough TV once again. I am Carl, and let me say big shout out to all you guys who tune in, all you guys in America. The McLeod family, big shout out to you. Osiris B, big shout out to you. Paul and all you guys at F-Book. Hector, how you doing? Philip, how you doing? Angela, how you doing? Lazara, how you doing? Big shout out to you. Rose, Jade, Michelle, Sean, Colin, Donna, big shout out to you. Girline, how you doing? Mabel, how you doing? Tot, how you doing? Mackie, how you doing? Big shout out to you. Let me say thank you for tuning into the program. The Williamson family, both in Jamaica and in the United States. The McLeod family, both in the United States and in Jamaica. Also the Bailey family, you know who you are, guys. I can't remember all your name. Let me say big shout out to you. Birmingham, how you doing? Let me say big shout out to you. Home, what we call Birmingham, home. Let me say big shout out to you. Thank you for tuning into the program. Breakthrough TV, want to say big shout out to you, Mr. Producer. So you've been up so like, got us again tonight.
Okay.
Let me say thank you very much. Have a great week, guys. Look after yourself. And the weather's still a little bit, keep warm. But the spring is knocking down our door soon. So
yeah, you have to get the spring in our step.
I'm looking forward to spring. Have a great afternoon.
Bless.
Good night.